I am Pete. Welcome back to my tutorial regarding the CS50 course. Today we're going to do the problem set 1. So 3 days ago we've got to know the basic terminologies of computer science through a program named Scratch. There was a video on my channel tackling those problems, and I basically just made a video about me creating a Scratch project from scratch. No pun intended. So today we're gonna be tackling problems, algorithms, more hands-on with a more low-level programming language, which has a name C. So what you're gonna do is go to this link, sign up to the course if you haven't already. And so this week we will have 4 problems. We have Hello World, Hello It's Me, Mario, and Credits. So we're gonna go through every problems one by one, and I am going to explain why I made the choice that I did, where I wrote that code, and what was my thought process to write it. Let's go to Hello World. In this program, we're just gonna print out Hello World \n, which means end of line. Pretty easy. It is just a newbie program, like something you're gonna be introduced to when you first open C and you first learn about programming. So like Professor Marland has said in his lecture, we're gonna include, that means including a header file, which stands for standards IO, standard input output.h, which includes this function printf. So we're gonna pass in a string, which is hello, world \n. So for demonstration, I'm gonna run this code. Week 1 and world, and make hello and hello. Code runs. This problem does not require a submit, so you guys are gonna have a good time beginning to get used to the language and tackle this problem yourself. So let's move on. We've done Hello World, so let's move on to the next problem, which bears a lot of resemblance. It's named after an Adele song, Hello It's Me, and the problem is just basically outputting hello, name. If the user does not input anything, you're gonna just simply say hello world. This is how you're gonna be able to tackle this problem. Again, you are very encouraged you guys to tackle these problems alone, and look for my solutions after. We're gonna include the standard input output library, and in turn including also the header file of CS50, which includes this function getString, and also this data type, which does not exist, or we haven't learned it yet in C. So standard input output for printf, CS50, string, and getString. So standard stuff, you're gonna get the user's name in name and just printing it out on screen using printf, which includes you passing a string into hello, comma, %s \n, comma, name. So the variable name, which is a string here, is going to be passed into this other string, and in turn replacing the %s, and it's going to say hello, comma, the user's name. Let's run this code to check its validity. cd me make hello, and then hello. What's your name? My name is Pete. Hello, Pete. Right. Let's go to the next example. No, it's me, it's done. Mario. So I've chosen the second version of Mario because I do feel more comfortable. You guys more than welcome to do the first version thereof. Okay, Mario, your task is just to output a pyramid of these symbols along with some spaces. They're called hashes. Yeah, you're gonna put some output some hashes with some spaces to create a pyramid-like structure. The program requires you to check for some things. It requires you to input to get an integer input from the user, which is not a negative number, which is not a 0. The number is between 1 and 8, and yeah, of course it is less than 9. So yeah, we're gonna only accept the input, which is an integer going from 1 to 8. Again, you guys are gonna be encouraged to tackle this problem alone and see my solution later. Let's go to Mario.c. Yeah, like Professor David Mayland said in the lecture, we're gonna use a do while loop. We're gonna just set the integer height to 0. You're not gonna initialize it to 0, so we're not gonna get some kind of segmentation fault or get some kind of junk value that comes in it. So if you guys do not set height to 0 first, in any chance that height gets outputted to the screen without being assigned a value, is going to have a junk value. It's going to be negative or positive, who knows. That is very important to know, that when you're outputting something to the screen that involves a variable, either an integer, a string, a float, anything like that, you're going to output something to the screen. It is common practice to initialize it and pass into it a default value. Here I chose 0. Then we'll use the program provided by CS50. Yeah, in this header CS50.h, get int height equals get int enter height. We're gonna get the user input here. So this function guarantees that the user enters a integer. It doesn't accept a string, doesn't accept float, a double, anything like that. It is just gonna accept an integer. So yeah, we're done with the first problem, that height is not an integer. Then only accept this this height value when it is between 1 and h. Okay, so here the condition is height is larger than 1 and smaller than 8. And then we're gonna have a for loop to print out pyramid. We're gonna loop from I to I less than height. You guys can just do like Professor Malin always does. I equals 0 and I less than height, but I prefer to do this way. And then we're gonna use another variable j from 1 less than or equals to height minus I, because we're gonna print out a hash, 2 hashes, 3 hashes consecutively, and we're gonna print out as many spaces as there need to be. So first line 1 hash, and of course they're gonna be height minus I spaces before that. Does that seem clear to you? Here, there's gonna be 1 hash on the first line, and here height equals 4, so we're gonna have 3 spaces for that. Next to the spaces, there are hashes. In this time, we're gonna have j hashes, j going from 1 to I, in which I goes from 1 to height. And then we're gonna separate the left and the right side of the pyramid with 2 spaces, as explained in the lecture or in this problem. So here, 2 spaces. And lastly, we're gonna print out the right version or right side of the pyramid using a similar loop like before. I said similar, it is identical. Yeah, we're gonna print out j hashes with the number of hashes equaling to I. The program or the problem does not allow us to have any spaces after the last hash, so we're just gonna print out an end of line character \n. So we're gonna check the validity of this code by going to mario.more here, and then run make Mario. Enter height -1. It does not get -1. Get the 45,3 does not accept that. And we're gonna cooperate using 7, for example. We're gonna have a pyramid of size 7. So that's it for this problem. Lastly, we're gonna do credits. Credits begins with a problem in which the student or you guys gotta solve this problem, whereas you guys are going to receive as inputs a 14, 15, or 16-digit number sequence that represents the number on a credit card or debit card. So the task is just identifying the brand of the credit card or debit card and just output invalid if none of those brands passed to the credit card, or just false formatting. So I encourage you guys to just take a look at this document, and you guys are going to know what it is talking about. So let's move to the solution. Credits. To the credits. So this is my solution, which is about 80 lines of code in main. So the program's gonna just run the function main first. So we're gonna have a number, a long, which is not an integer because we're gonna have to account for the length of the number sequence. Int caps out at 2 to the power of 32, I think. So it is a lot better to use this data structure, namely long. So then we're gonna use a function provided by the CS50 team, get long. Number equals get long, enter your credit card's number. So yeah, the number is gonna be here inputted by the user. We're gonna check if this number is valid or not. If not, just print out invalid. Then we are going to be outputting and we're going to be returning it. Okay, we're gonna return 0 here, or as I did in this program, just use an else statement. So if the number is valid when we have initially checked it, we're gonna run the check out function. Okay, let's take a look at isValid. In isValid, so this program is this function returns a boolean, which takes a long number as an argument. This line initializes a long integer named sum equals 0. So we're just gonna initialize it to 0 and counting it up along the way. While number is more than 10, we're gonna take the sum and add itself to the last digit of number. For example, we're gonna have like this number as number, and this line of code essentially takes the last digit of number and add it to sum. Okay, it just means number mod 10, which is number divided by 10. We're gonna take the remainder of it, which is 6 in this thing. Then we're gonna take the last digit out of number. So yeah, as an example, we're gonna have this number right here. When we take number and divide it by 10, we're gonna lose the 4 because integer truncation in C just leaves out the 0.4 out of the integer without even bothering rounding it up. Okay, so it's just gone. And we're gonna assign number to number divided by 10. Then long, we're gonna assign a long named A equals to number, the last digit of number times 2. If A is more than 9, so if A is a 2-digit number, sum's gonna be, we're gonna add to sum the last digit of A and the second digit A, with similar to the lines of code on line 6 and 17. Or else, if a is less than 10, we're gonna do it by adding a to sum. Then number is gonna be divided by 10 once more. We're gonna do this loop over and over again until number is out of digits. This program returns true when sum mod 10 equals to 0, which satisfies the requirements in this problem set. So the last digit of sum must be 0. This line of code, or this snippet of code, this returns true when the last digit of sum is 0 and false otherwise. So you guys got to know the isValid function. Let's do the check card. The check card function is just a void function which takes as arguments number alone. So we're gonna initialize num digits, the number of digits of number, and use a function called numDigits and pass in number. Let's go to numDigits here. So as long as count is equal to 0, while number is more than 10, number is more than 0, we're gonna take away the last digit of number, and count is incremented by 1. And lastly, return count. And then, when the num digits is already obtained, we're gonna check for the 3 types of cards. Firstly, we're gonna check if this debit or credit card belongs to or as a brand of American Express. If numDigits is 0 to 15 is equals to 15, we're gonna do check Amex number, which just finds the 2 leading number of number or the code on the credit card and checks if it's 34 or 37. It returns true if one of these conditions is correct and false otherwise. If this credit card or debit card is not an American Express one, we're going to check if it is a MasterCard one or not. A MasterCard has 16 digits, and similarly we're just gonna take the first 2 digits of the code and return true if this number is between 51 and 55. Lastly, we're gonna check if this card is a Visa or not. A Visa will have 16 or 13 digits, and if this code satisfies these conditions, we're gonna check if it is a Visa or not. To check if it is Visa or not, we're just gonna check for the first digit of the code and enter returns 4. If the code or the number here is equal to 4, goes to 4, it's going to return true and otherwise false. If this card does not fall into any of these categories, so it is not an American Express, MasterCard, or a Visa, we're just going to print out invalid and then returning it. Yeah, that was the code. We're just gonna run it as an example, therefore make credit and gonna do credit card number. I'm just gonna use a kind of an example here. Control C, Control Shift B allow, and then a visa, just like the example here says. It is David's visa. So thank you guys a lot for staying this long to this tutorial. We're gonna see you guys tomorrow, I hope. And stay balanced, and see you guys soon.